Thank you so much, Phyllis. This morning, more than usual, I am really missing everyone's smiling face here with us. But I am so grateful that we can still know that we are connected, because in the words of one of our favorite Disney songs, it's a small, small world. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hopes and a world of fears. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware it's a small world after all. 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 It's a small, small world. There is just one moon and one golden sun, and a smile means friendship to everyone. Though the mountains divide and the oceans are wide, it's a small world after all. 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 It's a small, small world. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. And now, knowing that it's a small world, let's join together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. Love, 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 joined together, together in love. Love, 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 joined together, together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. Joy, 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 joined together, together in joy. Joy, 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 joined together, together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together, together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together, together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together, together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together, together in peace.
Thank you, music team. I'm loving that we're starting out today with messages of peace, joy, unity, all through imagination and love. Good morning. My name is Devta, and I'll be your service leader for today. Please join me in affirming our statement of being. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. This power expresses life, love, wisdom, and abundance through me. In it, I live and move and have my being. Thank you. Welcome to Unity of Bloomington's live streaming service. We extend a special welcome to those of you who are participating in our online service this morning for the first time. You can find us both on Facebook and YouTube, and if you're following along on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button to never miss a Unity service. You can find the links to our streaming services on both of these platforms, as well as on our unityofbloomington.org website. While you're there, you can also sign up for our newsletter. At Unity, we offer practical spiritual teachings that empower abundant and spiritual living. We are a center for spiritual growth, and we provide inspiration, tools, and practices that support people on their path of spiritual growth. We'll now do a call and response. I'll say the wordy bit, and you respond with the two-word response. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in our lives, God, the good, omnipotent. God is. We are spiritual beings created in God's image. The Spirit of God is within each of us. I am. We create the experience of our lives through our thoughts and beliefs. I create. We become aware of our oneness through prayer and meditation. I pray. We transform our lives by putting these principles into practice. I live. I now invite Joni Reagan up for our moment with the children.
And good morning to all of our youngsters and all of our young at heart, and affirming that you all had a wonderfully unique Halloween experience. And when I saw some pictures of y'all, it looked like some of you were monsters, or maybe you saw some monsters. So I wonder about this. Do you ever remember a time when you heard or felt or saw something and everybody told you that it was nothing? Or maybe you were scared or angry or confused about something, and you knew that if you talked about what you were thinking or feeling, you might get into trouble. Or maybe you were even told that you shouldn't think or feel like that. We have a video this morning that talks about the ways our thoughts and feelings can grow if we don't pay attention to them. Are we ready?
No such thing as a dragon. Billy Bixby was rather surprised when he woke up one morning and found a dragon in his room. It was a small dragon, about the size of a kitten. The dragon wagged its tail happily when Billy patted its head. Billy went downstairs to tell his mother.
There's no such thing as a dragon,
Said Billy's mother, and she said it like she meant it. Billy went back to his room and began to dress. The dragon came close to Billy and wagged its tail, but Billy didn't pat it. If there's no such thing as something, it's silly to pat it on the head. Billy washed his face and hands and went down to breakfast. The dragon went along. It was bigger now, almost the size of a dog. Billy sat down at the table. The dragon sat down on the table. This sort of thing was not usually permitted, but there wasn't much Billy's mother could do about it. She'd already said that there was no such thing as a dragon, and if there's no such thing, you can't tell it to get off the table. Mother made some pancakes for Billy, but the dragon ate them all. Mother made some more, but the dragon ate those too. Mother kept making pancakes until she ran out of batter. Billy only got one of them, but he said that's all he really wanted anyway. Billy went upstairs to brush his teeth. Mother started clearing the table. The dragon, who was quite as big as Mother by this time, made himself comfortable on the hall rug and went to sleep. By the time Billy came back downstairs, the dragon had grown so much he filled the hall. Billy had to go around by way of the living room to get to where his mother was.
I didn't know dragons grew so fast.
said Billy,
There's no such thing as a dragon.
said his mother firmly. Cleaning the downstairs took Mother all morning, what with that dragon in the way and having to climb in and out of windows to get from room to room. By noon, the dragon filled the house. Its head hung out the front door, its tail hung out the back door, and there wasn't a room in the house that didn't have some part of the dragon in it. When the dragon awoke from his nap, he was hungry. A bakery truck went by. The smell of fresh bread was more than the dragon could resist. The dragon ran down the street after the bakery truck. The house went along, of course, like a shell on a snail. The mailman was just coming up the path with some mail for the Bixbys when their house rushed past him and headed down the street. He chased the Bixby's house for a few blocks, but he couldn't catch it. When Mr. Bixby came home for lunch, the first thing he noticed was that the house was gone. Luckily, one of the neighbors was able to tell him which way it went. Mr. Bixby got in his car and went looking for the house. He studied all the houses as he drove along. Finally, he saw one that looked familiar. Billy and Mrs. Bixby were waving from an upstairs window. Mr. Bixby climbed over the dragon's head, onto the porch roof, and through the upstairs window.
How did this happen?
Mr. Bixby asked.
It was the dragon.
Said Billy.
There's no such thing as...
Mother started to say.
There is a dragon.
Billy insisted.
A very big dragon.
And Billy patted the dragon on the head. The dragon wagged its tail happily. Then, even faster than it had grown, the dragon started getting smaller. Soon, it was kitten size again.
I don't mind dragons this size. Why did it have to grow so big?
Said Mother.
I'm not sure, but I think it just wanted to be noticed.
Said Billy. The end.
Sometimes just recognizing and sometimes sharing our thoughts and feelings can help us to manage them in safe and healthy ways so that they don't have to become as large as the dragon to get our attention. Ms. Zara's lesson for this week reminds us that even when someone or something seems so different from ourselves, we can still embrace those differences in love. And we can respond and act in a loving manner. So this week, as your little treat from Unity of Bloomington, you are getting little wristbands that say, I will respond in love, and a little card that helps remind you when to do that, when I am impatient, when I am angry, when I am uncertain, when I am afraid. I will breathe deeply, center myself in spirit, and I will choose to respond in the most loving way I can. And I hope you will share with us your experiences on Facebook or by a call or an email, your experiences with using this week. Thank you.
Let your spirit shine, 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 shine. Let your spirit shine, 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 shine. Let your spirit shine, 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 shine. Children of the world, let your spirit shine. Children of the world, let your spirit shine. Children of the world, let your spirit shine, 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 shine.
Ooh, that's a powerful message for any time, but especially for right now. I'm very thankful to our community for plugging into the zeitgeist. Unity's 2020 theme is Perfect Vision, Seeing Through a Spiritual Lens. This month we focus on interconnection. Our affirmation for the month is, like rivers flowing from one source, we are all connected. Please join me in claiming this truth as our own. Together, like rivers flowing from one source, we are all connected. And in order to stay connected, we do need some material support. So I'm going to speak just for a little bit about our intentional giving campaign. This is the time of year when we encourage our community members to celebrate abundance and generosity by considering our financial giving intentions for the coming year. So this is a planning exercise. Looking back just a year, how could we have ever imagined or anticipated what happened in 2020? It's almost unimaginable that we haven't seen each other in person since the second Sunday in March, and yet for most of us, this is true. You will soon receive an insert and a letter and a self-addressed stamped envelope. Please complete the insert and mail it back to us as part of your spiritual practice. We'll also use this information as we plan for Unity's 2021 budget. If you have any questions or haven't received a letter, please reach out. A couple of things that I want to emphasize here. At the bottom of the slip is a place for your name, your address, and the date. That is not compulsory. If you do not want to self-identify, really the most important thing that we need to know is what can we plan for? What can we count on in 2021? And that seems kind of silly thinking about 2020, but we want to plan for as much as possible, knowing that our situation may or may not change physically, but we want to support our community and stay together and connected, even if it's only virtual. May you experience abundance in the richness of your health, your relationships, your finances, and the wealth of divine ideas that guide and inspire you. And thank you. I'd also like to highlight the following. On Saturday and Sunday, November 7th and 8th, each one Feed 2 food and hygiene drive, Unity will once again be a drop-off site for this drive sponsored by Monroe County United Ministries, also known as MACM. You're welcome to donate all forms of non-perishable food items and cleaning hygiene products to restock MACM's food pantry and their hygiene cleaning closet. You're also welcome to host a drop-off site yourself. If you want to know more about hosting a site, please reach out to Madison at msilvers, that's with an S, msilvers at mcum.org. And as always, please join us after the service for our virtual Unity Cafe. And now it's time for the Daily Word. So please take a moment to, wherever you are, allow the weight of your body to be received by whatever you're sitting on, and just begin breathing long and deep to allow these words to wash over you. The word for today is remember, and the affirmation is, I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Grandparents, parents, siblings, members of my extended family, teachers, friends, co-workers, every person I've known has, by their example, helped me feel more deeply what it means to be human. Some have encouraged my curiosity. Some have taught me life skills. Some have molded positive attitudes and behaviors. Some have loved me fully and unselfishly, and some have helped me to learn to love even when loving felt difficult. Today, I remember the people whose lives have touched mine. I pause to think kindly of each one as I savor memories of time we spent together, whether we're still in one another's lives, have lost touch, or are separated by death. I know the experiences we have shared continue to enrich our lives and deeply bless us on our spiritual journeys. from Romans chapter 1, verse 9. I remember you always in my prayers. And now we'll join together in speaking the affirmation aloud. Together, I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. And now repeat it to yourself silently. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Our message today will be provided by Joni Reagan, and our spiritual ministry co-coordinator, Reverend Lynette Carlson, will be providing our musical inspiration.
This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. Everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. So I receive all I can be. This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. And everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. So I receive all I can be. Now I let it go with such appreciation. With sheer exhilaration now, I set it free. So it is, so be it. When I sing it, I can see it. I welcome us in. Now we begin. Amen. 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 Amen.
Thank you very much to the Unity Music team and Phyllis and Lynette. I've loved this song since I first heard it, and I've always heard Lynn singing it, so this is a gift to me. Thank you so much. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Do we have the title slide? Okay, maybe you do. Well, I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. On a beautiful October 30th in 1994, one of my first visits to Unity of Bloomington, excuse me? Please, I'm being corrected. Now you understand part of the problem. Okay. I gathered with a group of friends for lunch following the service. Imagine my surprise to find that a woman who had provided special music on Sunday morning was also there. I was quite taken with the music and with the sound of her voice, so I took the opportunity to introduce myself and offer my compliments on her performance. Unfortunately, she was not as interested in chatting as I was. And to be fair, she was having kind of a rough time in a previous relationship and didn't feel like she sang all that well that morning and really wasn't at her best. But to me, my ego decided that she was not very polite, that she clearly did not know who I was, and I was done. I think, and we have a slide there that shows our very first meeting. I don't know how many of you have a photograph of the very first time you met, but we were fortunate enough to have that. So in spite of the fact that I was done, our companions continued finding opportunities for me to be in contact with Lynette. They even invited her, against my wishes, to my birthday party. Because, you know, everybody loves Lynn. But my feelings of rejection and what I perceived to be her lack of common courtesy prompted me to find every single thing I could about her to dislike. Now, I bless these friends who continued to find opportunities for us to connect. They invited her every place. And I guess you know that eventually worked out okay. But it could have turned out really different. Because although we have a deep connection, when my feelings were hurt and my ego was bruised, it was lots easier to find things I didn't like about her. Because surface level connections are easily broken by misunderstandings, anger, pride, disagreements. All the things that highlight our differences. I'm convinced that my growth, due to my participation at Unity, allowed me to move past my initial impressions. And by the way, we were legally married on October 30th, 2019, 25 years following that first meeting. We wanted to make sure it was going to take. I guess it did. Our theme this month, though, is about interconnection, and that is a very different concept. Interconnection is the awareness that we are internally connected like the strands of a web or the threads of a tapestry. What is interconnected does not hold together without its other parts. The interconnections add strength and flexibility, all the things necessary for existence and endurance. Damage to one part damages the whole. Being conscious of these interconnections is what allows us to recognize our oneness. Lack of awareness of our oneness is what allows for what Neil Donald Walsh calls the illusion of disunity, that we are separate from each other and from God. This illusion has the most impact on human lives because it gives us permission to withdraw into our separateness. But the truth is that the substance of the universe is connected. Our affirmation this month, like rivers flowing from one source, we are all connected. Our statement of being affirms there is only one presence and one power in our lives and in the universe. In Unity, we know this truth. We talk about it almost every week in some way. So why is it so difficult to actually live from this knowledge? Why do we respond so strongly to external cues that we know are just a part of the picture? Deepak Chopra, in The Shadow Effect, tells us that it's because we live in the fog of illusion, which tells us that our reality consists only of the information of which we are conscious. Because we define ourselves by the beliefs, thoughts, and actions that we prefer, and we tend to dismiss everything we dislike through intentional disbelief, pretense, or sublimation. The problem with this illusion is that feelings and beliefs don't go away just because we don't want them. And we experience the delusion of separation not only from others, but from ourselves. Many years ago, while we were still at 14th and Dunn, a congregation studied a book called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. We had a little Halloween party where we were all challenged to come as our shadow selves, the parts of us that we are most afraid of having and showing. By the way, I went as a baby, and that is a story for another time, but this was my first time really understanding that the things we dislike most in others are the characteristics we least like in ourselves. So I realized that I had a lot of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in my subconscious that I rarely demonstrated, and certainly never intended to demonstrate in public. I discovered that these unconscious parts of me existed even if I didn't recognize or acknowledge them or want them. I also began to understand how very often I get stuck in judgment and what it really means when I become so forceful in my disapproval. This is something that I see play out repeatedly in my work with individuals with chemical and behavioral addictions. It's common to hear people say, "I just can't believe I would do that. It's not me," when of course it was. When we are divided in ourself, unconscious, that we have all the healthy and unhealthy parts that we see in everyone else, how can we ever imagine being interconnected with everyone and everything? Well, we can't. If we are separated in our own being, we are surely unable to accept our oneness with others. Two of the things I found to be very difficult but also very helpful in understanding this were the concepts of duality and polarity. Reverend David LeBeau spoke about this several years ago, and I found it terribly confusing. He described duality as a contrast of opposing principles or aspects, the negative versus the positive representing separation. Polarity, on the other hand, is the understanding that the same two opposites work together, with the negative and positive attracting and working in unity. So here's how I finally come to understand this. We have Gollum slide up. An example of duality is found in Gollum and Sméagol from The Lord of the Rings. Sméagol, the hobbit self, before he was diminished by the power of the One Ring, still exists. But he is easily overtaken by the angry, obsessed Gollum. I've used this as a metaphor for understanding addictive thoughts and behaviors, and it's pretty clear. An example of polarity can be found in the Hulk. Bruce Banner, mild, kind scientist versus the Hulk, huge, angry destroyer. In Avengers Endgame, we see the joining of the two. He becomes the good Hulk. The good Hulk found a way to recognize how his angry Hulk, even his out-of-control, angry, and destructive Hulk, had helped him in the past. Every negative thought, feeling, and behavior has served to protect us at some time. That's why we have them. We also have the choice to understand them and accept them, and to prevent them from growing large in need of attention. I wonder if some of you have struggled with the vitriolic state of our politics. A new survey for the American Psychological Association finds that 70% of American adults experience a significant source of stress related to the election and to the fears of widespread violence after the results are announced. I admit I have been very angry. I've been horrified, frightened, and quite judgmental. I've had a hard time relating to the ideas being expressed, and I have even felt like I hated the people expressing them. But being like that makes me miserable. I don't like feeling that way. So I look to my addictions treatment basics for how to deal with difficult people and feelings. If you have a resentment against someone, pray for them. Pray for them every day for 2 weeks, and you will find that your resentment has lifted. This works. It's nearly impossible to be resentful towards somebody that you pray for their well-being every day. So I tried that. I prayed for our president, and it worked to some extent. I was less angry. I could watch him and not erupt, but it didn't last because I prayed for 2 weeks. I should have been praying every single day. But I fell away from that. But it worked when I did it. But it didn't do the whole trick because I still talk back to the TV. I cuss when I read my Twitter feed. I consistently struggle to cope as COVID increased, racial injustices and illegal activities were more and more prevalent. I used to love the Village People song, YMCA. You know what I mean? Now it makes me cringe when I see this. Regardless, though, of the outcome of the elections, we can expect that these issues will still be present to some extent in our future. So this is my current approach. I remember what I learned earlier. The things we dislike most in others are the characteristics we like least in ourselves. I had to come to terms with the characteristics in me that so strongly call out my rage, fear, shame, and judgment in these times. And that is what I have been doing. Recognizing the parts of me that have treated people badly, times when I have acted purely on self-interest, times that I totally forgot that winning was not the most important thing, and times when I was so afraid, so little, that I totally failed to recognize that my behavior could hurt someone else. I had to drag all these things out and accept them without judgment and consider how these emotions and motives could still be part of who I am. Because like my clients, I have tended to forget that I still have the ability to act on these impulses. My strong response to seeing those behaviors in others reminds me that I'm still working to integrate those rather than eliminate those feelings. I guess I want to be the good Hulk. Our goal is to be fully conscious of our oneness with all. A good place to begin is to become one with all of our parts. We have to see the dragons, acknowledge them without judgment, and love them so that they can find their proper place in our lives. Slight break, back to it. Our meditation process is going to be a little bit different this morning. I would like to share a part of an article by Reverend Kelly Isola in this month's Unity magazine titled Weeping Strongly, Singing Gently, followed by the music of Eric Whiteacre and the virtual choir. In the Myrtle slide, she shares with us that she got tired of feeling all the hurts and resentments on her insides. Kelly Isola suggests that We think we can see all the parts. If we can understand them, then our pain will be lessened. That's not always true. So here is another technique. The spiritual practice of weeping strongly is an invitation to stop pulling things apart, stop swallowing the discomfort, and to allow the depth of whatever got broken open by life to emerge. It's a journey of letting things in rather than breaking things down. Becomes the bridge back to life, a connector, an opening and a pathway to healing. And that as we emerge from such weeping, the powerful bridge for connecting back to life is to sing gently. These lyrics invite us to sing together gently as one, to stand together singing, knowing that our music is for everyone. So for the next 3 minutes, I invite you to enjoy the virtual choir and sing gently. That will be followed by a brief moment of silence.
May
I think Reverend Lynette is putting the lyrics in the live feed, and perhaps we have them on a slide here. There have been many things during the pandemic, even though there's no such thing as a COVID. There are many things that we've experienced that we have not cared for. There have also been many beautiful things, and this is one of them. Voices from all over the world and the faces joining together to remind us that singing gently is healing for the world. So when we are confronted by forces that rock our world, do we tend to pull it apart, hoping that that will solve our issues? Or can I use my experience to hear the wisdom, making that wisdom my song to sing gently? In this time, I remember that every day I have this choice. May your weeping be so strong that your singing is music for others, keeping us all aloft.
Thank you. We turn now to the spiritual practice of generosity. We're grateful for the many ways the center supports us in our spiritual growth, and we in turn are happy to support this center with our financial contributions and our voluntary service. We're also grateful for those who have already put in place automatic weekly, monthly, or quarterly giving. Today, if you feel led to give, please visit our website, unityofbloomington.org, and click on the giving link. You can also place a check in the mail. Our address is 4001 South Rogers Street, Bloomington, Indiana, 47403. I now invite you to place your hands over your heart as we say our abundance affirmation together. Together? I am an abundant being living in an abundant universe. God is the source of my supply. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love, the fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above.
We bless the offering received with these words together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I'd like to invite our prayer partner this week, Ginger Curry, to close the service.
Thank you so much, Dave. I really would like to thank everyone involved in the service today. You are much appreciated. It takes a village to do a virtual live service. So thank you all very much. I am Ginger. I am your prayer partner this week. If there's something that you would like to celebrate, I know we had many birthdays in the chat. I saw a few birthday wishes, and we've had many of our community that are facing some challenging times now. So we want to lift everyone up so that they feel the love so that they feel supported and they know in their heart that we are indeed all connected. So if you would like to reach out to me, please do it at gingercurry@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to pray with you. Every week we close the service with a prayer. This time we are doing the original prayer for protection. So please join me in the prayer. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now please join us as we sing, "Let There Be Peace on Earth."